Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the Building Investors YouTube channel. We have got some updates to give you today. This is going to be probably a video that's going to be uploaded midweeks, like Wednesday, as my guess. I have a video coming out every Sunday, but it just seems like too far of a gap in between videos. I'm not always able to upload videos that regularly, but right now I have the time, so I want to upload as much as I can so we can get some more content, some more money, all that stuff. Don't get me wrong, I'm not making a bunch of money on YouTube. I barely even just started getting paid. So anyways, let me give you some updates on this and then also what else is going on, because there's some crazy stuff going on right now. And then I'll show you what we're gonna do today. Well, here is the tiny house. But before I show you all about the cool stuff going on here, which you can probably tell a big difference since last time, the end of last video, I was driving up the driveway, which goes that way, coming up here, and a stick from the road, a small little stick, popped up from the tire like this, and then punctured my fuel line for my truck. It's a pretty new truck, so I think it's a 2019. And so my steering started getting stiff. I'm like, what in the world? I'm like, did that something get jammed between the wheels? I'm like, it'd have to take something substantial. And so I jumped out of the truck to see what I was running over before I kept on driving. And then my truck sputtered and died. I'm like, oh, well, that will do it. So the power steering was going out because the truck was dying, but I didn't hear it. So anyways, got under there. Fuel's just dripping out of the fuel line. It broke a union, a joint that's in between it. So I have to order, well, I did order a new fuel line, but that fuel line is 35 minutes that way if you drive, and I'm not walking that far. So I'm gonna wait for my wife to get off work. Then she can come get me. I might go get some fuel line and try to do a temporary fix on that to get it back home. And then the new fuel line comes in 2 days, I'll put it on. But it's not terribly difficult, but a bummer nonetheless. So anyways, back to what you are interested in probably, and that's the tiny house. We've got, of course, you saw the siding probably, keeping it from falling over while I get the roof put on to keep it dry on this side. And then on the back of the building there, don't mind the flat screen TV. I did a camp out the other day with some guys, and we were going to play Halo in the tiny house, but that TV I couldn't get to work. And then, so we went and got another TV. TV worked, but then the Xbox wouldn't work, his original Xbox. Long story. So that's why there's a TV there. No other reason. So the loft is up there. The roof is on pretty much, except for the one part I'm going to show you today. So all the sheeting, I think last time video we showed you putting on like one sheet, but since then we've put on all the sheets, and it looks so much cooler because it shows us the shape of inside the tiny house. Anyways, let's climb this ladder and show you what we've got to do. Oh, so beautiful out here. Today is probably mid 70s. It's a little bit warm, like you can't wear a jacket today, but you're not really sweating too bad either. So here's the roof above. We've got ice and water shield down here. We've got 2 rows of this Grip-Rite, which is like it waterproofs the roof. It's see, back in the day they call it felting, but that's because they use like a tar paper stuff, which is cheaper, but it covers half the space, and it's twice, I don't know, 6 times as heavy as this stuff to carry. It's like carrying one of these almost. These things are heavy. This has a sticky backer to it, and you stick it down, and this keeps, if there's any water or rain-driven rain that comes up into here, it can't freeze and then thaw out and get into your roof and insulation and all that junk. So you put this down. Code up here where I live is they want it to go 2 feet past your interior wall. So the interior wall's right about there. So it comes up 2 feet past that. And so you gotta do this around the whole perimeter technically. But since I'm not worrying about it, I'm not gonna do it on the edges just now. I might do it later. So that all the way around. This is just a piece sitting there. That's nothing fancy. And then this side's the same. But since I didn't show you doing that, because I was in a hurry to keep it from getting wet below, this side, I'm going to show you how to do it. So pretty simple stuff. But if you don't know how to do it or have never done it, then you don't know how to do it. So anywho, cool thing over here is, of course, this roof is a 412 pitch. And then that roof is a 612 pitch, which I've talked about before. And so when you have a roof pitch change, you have to have, it's different right there. So anyways, this is a 16-inch overhang just like the rest. And so there's a soffit right here, which will protect that wall. So it kind of gives it a cool detail. If I were to do the whole tiny house over again, I'd probably make this like an 812 pitch, so it's steeper. And this, either that or make this less of a pitch, but I think it looks fine. It looks good on the inside, so I'm happy with that. So we've got this piece on as our soffit board, attached permanently up here with the 2x6 on up here. When we do our roof metal will slide underneath of this, and then this course will be covered with metal, and there'll be a flashing piece here. And so this will come up inside of here, but the flashing will extend past it. So there's no way for water to get up in there. So that's what that detail looks like here. And on this side, of course, this one's been wrapped with the waterproofing. So we need to blow off all the sawdust from cutting the sheets even here. And the reason there's so many big gaps like these is because this is all I ran out of wood and I was using scraps to do this top pieces. So it is what it is, but it's not really important. This will be covered with waterproofing and then the metal roof. So we just need a little bit of structure to hold the sheets. That's it. So anyways, that's why the gaps are there for, because I made do with what I had. Ta-da. So anyways, we're gonna get the leaf blower out, blow off all the sawdust, just because why not keep it clean? The dog found somebody out there probably. Here he comes. You find something? He just loves roaming this area. And he does good at staying around. So it's happy. Happy, bud? You happy? Goofy. Anyways, so I'm gonna blow this off, get the sawdust off. This stuff's pretty easy to walk on, but if it gets sawdust on it, it gets slick pretty quick. And then also, don't step on it unless you've stapled it off good, because it will disappear on you. So anyways, let's get the leaf blower, and then we'll get this ice guard, which is down yonder. And I'll show you how I install it, and then 2 layers of that. So any further ado, let's get the leaf blower out and carry this up and just do it. Before we get up on the roof and go into voice over land mode, here's the box that the water shield comes in. It's made by a company called Grace, apparently, or GCP, I'm not exactly sure. Applied Technology. Anyways, it is premium performance, stick better, seal better, strong, watertight, lap re-roofable. So ice and water shield. The point of this, again, is to keep the water from icing and damming up there on your edge. Usually you put your fascia board on with your rain, what do they call that? There's a piece of metal here I'll think of later that goes over a drip edge. Goes over top here. You'd want to put that on before you put this on. But since we're kind of doing things a little bit backwards and getting the roof waterproofed, because we have to come in and out and don't have a lot of time to mess around, we're waterproofing this first. That way we keep our insulation dry. Most important, we can address that later if we need to by putting more tape or peeling out the membrane and sticking it under. We'll worry about that later. But so if you do it, put the drip edge on first here on the bottom. Drip edge on the sides go on second. I'll show you that when we get to the roofing. This stuff is expensive. It's $199 to $200 for this box. Comes with this roll inside of it. A total of 225 square feet, but a total linear footage of 75 feet. So this building is 40 feet long. And so I had to buy 2 of them just to get it done. So $400 just an ice and water shield. Is it worth it? Can you live without it? Yes. Is it up to code? Yes. But do you need it? You can live without it, I'm sure. But I bought it because I just cheap insurance. And then on top of that is this stuff. This is that underlayment for above. Like I said, super light, but super grippy and strong. I like it a lot better than the tar paper that you normally use, that black stuff. So anywho, I'll put you up on a tripod and let you watch me install this. It is not easy to do by yourself. And in the instructions, it even tells you that you can find the rip cord and rip the plastic down the middle. That way you can stick the top half or the bottom half and then you roll it over and then do the other side. You do not want to let the stuff stick to each other because it does not come apart. It sticks to itself like whatever the saying is. It just sticks to itself really, really good. So you don't want to stick it together. So once you get up there rolled out, make sure once you pull this off, you're sticking it to the surface you want to stick it to. So, but I could not find the ripcord. That's what I was saying. Could not find the ripcord. It is not under this, inside this anywhere. So there should be, comparing to the directions, there should be a ripcord right there. We can just rip it right down the middle. It's not there. So what we're going to do is we'll stick the edge of this on the start where we start off at and then roll it out, and you'll see here momentarily. Well, here is the voiceover that I was just referring to a couple seconds ago as I carry this up the roof here to put it on the other side. The ice and water shields, what we're doing right here. If you hear birds chirping or a dog licking themselves in the background, it's because I'm sitting in a camp chair next to the fire pit looking at the tiny house, talking about a video while I'm working on the tiny house. Pretty ironic, but Anywho, the next step is to tear off the backing off of this stuff and then stick it down to the roof. And it's very sticky, like I said. So, I mean, like my thumb here gets stuck, and just getting the thumb off of there barely was hard to do. I was like, I got it. But anyways, it sticks to itself like white on rice. And so don't let it stick to itself. But sometimes dusty materials, it doesn't stick too well too, but it'll stick to itself like crazy. So, and then once I get it locked down, I'll put some staples in it, and this will kind of keep it locked down. That way I don't have to worry about it sliding if it doesn't stick. And then I can take the backer and roll it as I go. So if you had two people, you could do this a lot easier. You can kind of unroll the whole thing and then stick it down and then make it nice and straight with no bubbles in it. When you're doing one person and you can't get it to split down the middle like most of the things can, you just put it down a little bit and then straighten it out, and then you can roll it the rest of the way out, peeling the backer off as you go. Pretty simple. It's just a little time consuming. So, and you can mess it up really easily. It's kind of expensive, but anyway, so grab the backer, roll it out just ever so slightly, ever so slowly, making sure it doesn't slide down the roof as you go. And then once you get to a certain point, you can just tear off the excess and then finish up. So that's pretty much what ice and water shield is like. In the next steps I'll be talking about here shortly. But anywho, it's beautiful out. Here's the next angle coming up right here. This is what it looks like close up on the end. So roll it out and then tear off the excess because there's just too much to work with here. So throw it on the ground to burn later, and then roll it the rest of the way out, and then cut off about 4 to 6 inches of excess, and then drape it over the end. That way you can waterproof. And if there's any rain that gets on it, it just rolls off without soaking into anything. The drip edge will go down the side, which we'll show in the roofing video coming up. But pretty simple. So all I'm going to do is score the top of this, and then I can break it off, and that's about it. So I'll let you enjoy the rest without any voiceover. That was the hardest part. Let's see. Let's be lazy and not carry this down and throw it down. Show me. See how I break it. Not too bad. I plan on using the rest of that for probably windows. To have stuff made for windows, and I actually have some left over, so we'll see if I need any. But when I install the windows, I can use this around the seals and stuff to make it nice and watertight, because I have extra now. So unless I come up the eaves, which we'll see. So anyways, that's that. As you can see, a couple staples here just to hold it in place, and then get it adjusted. You're gonna kind of end up with some humps unless you're working with someone else that can help you. But that should be stuck down, and when it heats up, metal will be on top of it. So not the prettiest job, but not the worst either. As you can tell, it overlaps the front of the roof a tiny bit. Now we'll be able to stick it to the soffit board and all fascia board, whatever. So anyways, let's do this stuff next. So if you're ever climbing a ladder, make sure you always have 3 points of contact. That happens all the time. Right now I'm carrying the felt, roofing felt, some staples in my pocket. Hopefully the stapler is up here. I don't see it. It's around somewhere, hopefully. Anyways, 3 points of contact is best. 2 feet, 1 hand. 2 hands, 1 foot. Yep, stapler's not up here. So anyways, let me show you what I'm doing. Actually, let me get the stapler and then I'll show you what I'm doing. Oops. Stay. Good boy. Okay. So to staple this on, now that you've got your stapler, this is I call it a staple hammer. I was like, I just add it. Anyways, you take this, there's a blue line here, blue line up here. This is your overlap line. So you want to overlap whatever you're going over, that much at least. And so there's an overlap line on this ice guard as well. The way I do this is I overlap it, and then I try to square up my sheet as possible. I want to overhang the edge here as well. And then I can staple the top vigorously, and that'll hold this in place. And so when I roll this out, when I get to the other side, I can pull it tight and nail, staple, hammer the other side. And then I come back to this corner, pull it tight, and then nail it. Because if I nail this whole thing right here, I could be off on my direction, so I'd be rolling it, and then I'd be like halfway down the roof or up the roof. And if I wanted to correct it, there'd be a big old fold in the middle. It's just, so staple one side or the other. You can do top or bottom, and then straighten it, pull it, nail it. If you have two people, you can just roll it out halfway, have them staple it, roll it out the rest of the way, cut it off, and that's how it does. So anyways, this staple hammer takes 5/16 all the way up to 1/2 inch staples. I think I'm running 5/16 staples. They have flat head staples, pointy staples. I feel like the pointy staples just make more sense, so I buy those. I think these are T50 staples. You can get them in a big pack. It's worth buying the big packs because if you're doing it for any time, you'll need a bunch of them. This is what they look like. Let me give you a close up. And I think the key to a good roof job is take these and just staple bejeebies out of everything, because it'll be a few weeks probably before I get the metal on the roof, so I don't want these to blow off. And so these are cheap, so just put a whole bunch of staples in it. Usually I do a W pattern all the way down, and then a reverse W pattern all the way down on the way back, and that should hold it. You can get roofing nails that have caps on them. I think they're called cap staples, and you can even get staple hammers that have the caps that feed in them. I think they're called a Scorpion is the brand I used to use. But these do just fine. So staple that, roll it all the way out, staple the bejeebies out of it, and do the next row. And the next row, and since it's such a tiny house, will overlap the roof. See how this other one overlapped? This one will overlap that way. We don't have a vented roof because everything is air-conditioned space, heated space inside. So we're not gonna have any venting as of now for that. So we'll be able to cover that. But if you have a vented attic space, then you'll need to cut either a slot down the middle here or have your vents up here. This house again doesn't have it, so we'll just roll this out, staple it off. And like I said, don't stand on it until you've stapled the bejeebies out of it. Even now, with a couple staples in it, it could still slide. So I'm gonna come up from the bottom, staple all the way across, and then do the next row the same. And I'll put you on time lapse so you can watch it a little faster. And to reload this, as simple as pinching the back here, sliding it out, taking your staples out of your pocket, sticking them right in there, and then closing it back up. At nighttime, I tell my wife, I don't know why I'm sore. I must be getting old. I don't do anything during the day, like not enough to get sore. That's why. Anyways, let's check it out. So the woof, woof. the roof is waterproofed. I'm out of breath, but man. So here's a tip. I don't always do this, and everything else is not flawless, so I guess it's pointless to say, but just try to make everything uniformed if you can. If this is a customer's house and they were looking at my work, they'd be like, this guy tries to do good work. Even if I'm not doing good work, they can say, man, he tries. So you see this blue line right down the ridge? How it connects with that roof over there and then falls all the way down? All the tar paper, all the paper, even though these roofs are different pitches, this one overlaps by like a foot because there's extra, and so I don't want to waste it. There's no reason to have extra up here necessarily. So I just lined it up with that roof. So straight line here, this line connects to that line connects to that line, everything overlaps the same. If you have wording on your paper, try to get it to go upright. Like you can see, these are all legible from down. Doesn't really matter. And should I worry about it because that's someone else's advertising, not mine? No, but like this one over here, I rolled it the other way because these two are rolled the other way because it's more convenient to roll from that side to this side. And that's why the roll was headed. So those are upside down. So if you were to do a better job, flip those up. So lots of these, like this Grace Ice and Water Shield, is reversible. So you don't have that problem. It says it either way you put it, but this one does not. So wouldn't it be cool? So I watched this guy on YouTube called RR Buildings. No plug there, just I watch him, and he has his own dedicated house wrap that has his logo and everything on it. It just looks super cool. So when he rolls it out, I'm just like, oh man, that would be nice to have the building investor on my house wrap. But I don't do near as much work as he does, especially for customers. Like, no one's going to see this. It's out in the middle of nowhere, so there's not a house for quite a while, so they're not going to see this. And driving down the road, they're not going to see it. So anyways, I'll let it say I wish I had it, but it's not important. So with no further ado, the roof is finished. Ice guard is on, the roofing felt is on, and we are ready for steel roofing. So next thing to do is to go on the inside, which, let me carry all this down and I'll show you the next steps on the inside. Down from the ladder. Here's the staples that I buy. Just a box of those, come in little stacks in there. Slide me a gun. Of course, they're made for staple guns like this as well, but they work for those hand bangers as well, the staple hammers. So roof is on, siding is next. My wife came over yesterday. Yeah, it's Tuesday, so yesterday was Monday. She came over and we helped pick window locations. We didn't narrow them down to like exactly where they're going, but we have an idea of what windows we want. And usually, like I said, when we're framing this, usually you frame those in before. It's kind of backwards to frame it like this and then not have the headers and everything in place. But it's a lot easier for me to lift the walls by myself without all that extra lumber in it. So that's what these diagonal braces are for, is to keep the walls from falling over with the weight of the roof. And then this is sided and that sided to give us some shear strength as well. So is it enough? Probably not. If it got really windy, it could get sketchy. So that's why it's up next. We're going to put the windows locations in and put the siding on. Probably what we're going to do, so you can see different window markings. Some of these are actually going to stay. I'm going to put the siding panels on, which are 4x8 sheets, stand them up and they get nailed across here. I'll probably nail the tops in the some of the sides and the bottom, but leave the middle field, they call it, empty with no nails. That way I can frame this out and I'll come back on the outside and finish nailing off all of those studs. Oh man, does it look cool though. So anywho, this is what it looks like now as of Tuesday. This video will be coming out next Wednesday because we got a full-length video come out Sunday about the framing of the roof, I believe. So, oh man, it's looking cool. So we're thinking about putting a window there, like a cubby in the middle, bed against that wall, light fixtures over there, maybe some roofs, 2 windows to match that side with something in the middle, staircase here, bunch of windows out here, 2 up above, probably 4 on that wall, 1 big one, 2 on that wall, and a kitchen window there. And in the bathroom, there'll be a window above the bathtub, and in the master bedroom or kids' bedroom for now, since they're too small to climb. Well, they can climb, it's just they'll fall. So a window above the bed, and then probably a window somewhere in here to see out into nature. So in here, I'm getting ahead of myself because that's going to be in a window video one day. But I figured you might as well enjoy it with me. So anyways, here's the view. I hope your day is going well. I hope you're feeling well. I hope you're feeling slightly better about your looks than me, because I feel a little homeless. I just got my hair cut a couple days ago and I still look floofy. Probably because I don't have any product and I'm all dirty and greasy and smelly like gas because of the truck I'm working on. What can I say? I think I'm pretty good looking no matter what. So anyways, I hope you're feeling good is the whole point of the story, and I hope your day's treating you well. So anyways, thanks for watching. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. Don't forget to look in the description. There's some cool stuff down there, like some stocks. If you do stock investing like I do on the side just for fun, there's a link to that. You get one free stock by using that Robinhood link. I'm not affiliated with them, just I think it's cool, so I use them. And then there's a GoFundMe and all kind of stuff down there too if you feel like supporting these videos. So anyways, thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you later. Have a good one. God bless.